Hello, hello, hello. Yes, fumble them. Nobody no get for come for make Salone. If we don't make come for we self, nobody no can not go able for help fix Salone. If we not fix them for we self, then we avoid tribalism, nepotism. That in a big word for some of una nepotism, like where you they give position to you fambul, you friend, and somebody that we you know. Now the simple definition that so let we avoid that because when they happen, it they wreck the country mama salon go bien. Because then people and they not even qualify, then we give them position. So this music, now music with anytime I am the Kaba brothers and our patriotic Sierra Leoneans them because their music are very inspiring. So, by the way, Fambulem, I name Abdul Karim Kagbo for Unawe Jos. They joined VOS for the first time. Una welcome. And for the people that are non-Sierra Leoneans, especially people in the West Africa, other non French-speaking countries, them and also now they understand we Creole, Nigerians, Ghanaians. So for Ghanaians, Akwaba. For Nigerians, um, the Yoruba and I go get for land that, but Oga una kushe. So again, I want to say boku boku thank you for where una join we. And the topic where we get for tonight, Fambulem, I know say some people then go they say, oh don't beat this drum too much, but it's very essential. And I will sort of line up the sequence where I will talk. But before that, I open the phone lines right away because again, Auntie Kadi, we don't make and clear say they join maybe on Saturday program, but they not join me. So because it's very late now England, because we all know say the show they start 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that means now UK now 1 o'clock morning. And for the people in our salon at midnight. So we all know say them and they can not late. So and it gets family for take care of. So we say okay, well Saturday we now 3 o'clock p.m. we can start this program. By God's grace, they go to join me on Saturdays and Saturdays salon time at 7 p.m. and then UK time at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, fumble them, the program, the topic say current issues making headlines in Sierra Leone. This is as of July 27th, 2023. So, as of today, the issues them. So all the issues them before like from Sunday where VOS can come on, where Mr. Shilon and Mr. Mengot can come on. So all the issues them or the topics that we make headlines throughout that time day before we come Thursday, we can put them all together and look at the thing that where we feel say newsworthy, meaning that not so because of just the negative aspect of it, but because we feel say now something where if we not address properly and not go born good picking. So now make we know I know say Boko Funa go say, oh my goodness, this guy they sound like a broken record. But it's very important though, because every now and then we dey get new aspect, new angle to the story. And waiting out the story for the most part. Now about the ECSL, we still do not release the disaggregated data. So I go touch on the press release where ECSL put out. And I'm not going to read the whole thing because I don't want for like this show be about reading. But I want you now the perspective, like the context, like who side they come off from. Let we able to understand that. And in addition, also the interviewer Agbagba na the ECSL we in a 98.1, and I want to tell them Boku, thank you for that. A very good interview. So we go listen to the interview there. And then we show una the areas them where it quote by the within the law where don't become law where now the Public Elections Act. So I go show una how things that they play, that aspect there. So let unable understand waiting the law say, waiting did they do. Did they do am right or did they do am right? I go make una be the judge for that. So I go touch on that. And the other aspect where I go touch on is now something we don't make round now social media. And that's na Dr. Cherno Abbas Bundu, we na the re-elected Speaker of the Parliament. It release a statement about the opposition, because now one party no more we get as opposition, unfortunately. So I go talk about that and read the areas them way personally I think it's troubling, but I go also again the phone lines the open. I go want for Leona self Rob Mott for let we hear or let una self understand, like get una take if na the right thing they do or not to the right thing. I know say we all in a different part of the fence, but let we try first, as I can always appeal to una, because again, as Sierra Leonean, a better, let we not just the talk but a better follow put Salone force. And at that I can always try for do na this program. Anytime I can at this program, I make I so excited how much I love my country, but however, we not get for sit back and see that country where the land that we love so much for like it go down because of few Sierra Leoneans them we're very selfish and think about themselves first. And it no matter how much that go affect the country, they not go care. So I go touch on that aspect. And if time permit, I go also draw to our attention as to how particularly the West Africa area and Africa in general, how it become. I want to go back to that thing where we know in the 90s, where we they see Boku military coup. So the reference where I go give now a coup will take place very recently na Niger. So again, we look at the country then where they share border with. Then country then they in a very troubling area where you get extremists then we don't penetrate another country, and then countries then they like Mali, Burkina Faso, around that area they so the French people they be the hope. The French government be the hope say Niger will be stable because they will get democratic process with this president with overthrow. So now democratically elected president, not to say it come through the ballot box. I mean the gun, it come through the ballot box. Then vote for him in a win and fairly from we understanding the assessment. And now the military don't kick him out. Democratically elected government, and the list goes on. Let we say it starts in Guinea. Military government, even though the president will be there, the civilian president will be there when Alpha Conde, we all know say he rigged the election, or Bokov we know say he rigged the election, but that not for justify a military takeover. And now they don't tell him the president, the military person or leader Dumbuya for like a handover to civilian, let it transition to civilian rule. They say go do them, but now 2 years they cancel because it take over power in September of 2021. So now September then at the corner we're gonna make on 2 years, and make any get any indication as to when it go hand over. So you fast forward to Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso, we all see that as well, where this now civilian government where they elect democratically, and the military take over. Overthrow them. So and now we don't see that in Niger. And before that, it happened. Military take over, even though in my own understanding, sort of dictators them like Zimbabwe, where the military kick Mugabe out, and we see that now Egypt, where the military kick Mubarak out. So, and now the military force in Egypt, it don't sort of adjust the constitution. It don't pull the military close. It now gets civilian close. It adjusts the constitution for let it go probably another until 2032, and that's a long time. And then you call them democracy. And the last election, what did he do? Intimidate opponents them, and some people even threaten them. Say if they not pull out, you go either kill them or jail them. So the last person we want for make stubborn, it threaten them, end up for pull out. So it become unopposed. And that's a bad trend. And I remember the last program, I think last week, we play a video about a journalist or somebody where they into intelligence. Again, intelligence agency where they give intelligence, including classified information. Talk about this. And Boku people will not be believe them. They say fake news and stuff. But now that's what they see so. It talk about, say, the military coup business. It on the rampant now. It look like, say, it on the takeover. And now that's what they see so. If a government were democratically elected, then kick them out. At the talk now for Guinea and Niger and Burkina Faso. So then kick them out. So what thing then you expect, Mifambolem? Who side else we go turn to in terms of the stability of that continent today? So I put all this together for let Salone we take note. Because one thing we are sort of the observe na Salone, but people when you do that kind of analysis here, for let we own leader when our president bill, be careful and let it address almost all the issues them we go push Salone in this kind of path. People in this they call the reward way probably I don't know side and pull them, but the reward way they memorize now incitement. So people are not for do analysis way for make we correct mistakes them, they say incitement. But me as a Sierra Leonean, I go give the analysis where I feel say if we administration they listen, then go think twice as to how they go address plenty of them things here. So if time permit, I go play that video there, the video about Niger, let unable get a sense as to the build up to this. Remember that person now 2 years to power into power. They elect him 2021. And look now that overthrew him. Similarly with Conde, Alpha Conde, na Guinea. Himself few, I think a year or so, or two, to in where they overthrew him, not even go middle of in term. So this is something where I want we pay particular attention. So again, I remind una say the phone lines they're open and the people and way they in North America, I go encourage una for let una call the toll free. So if you did in America, Mexico or Canada, you can call this toll-free number, and the toll-free number now 1-866-944-7722, 1-866-944-7722, and if you did na UK, you can call. This not a toll free, but it will be local number for you. Plus 44 20 8089 1455. Plus 44 20 8089 1455. And if you they call we from Australia, mi fambulem, you go also able for reach we and we Australia number where if you didn't Sydney area now local call for you now plus 61 2909 84337 plus 612909 84337. And if you there now any other part of the world or even them place there where I don't call so, where you just want for we hear from you know and call the other number them. This now waiting I go call the one port number. So we now WhatsApp and people in a salon self able use the WhatsApp and call. We will encourage you now let una self give una your own take as to waiting they gonna we country and to the topic tonight. So the WhatsApp number now 1-343-997-5828. The number again now 1-343-997-5828. So their numbers here, now their numbers here una can call and I go encourage you now let una call right away. And speaking of it, I don't know if this person a old program maybe they watch, but we get somebody on the line and let we take this call and hear waiting this person gets for say. VS Network. Hello, caller. What's your name and who say they call from, please? Hello, caller. Hello.
Yes, my brother. How you do? How is body?
I they do well. So you call you call on the show?
Yes, brother. How you do? How is body?
Now for turn the volume. Now you set down, please. So I know we get feedback. You hear me now?
Okay, I will. Yes, loud and clear.
Okay. So what's your name and who say they call from, please?
Yeah. My name is John. I call from Australia.
Okay.
I call from Darwin.
All right. So John, what are you take for tonight? Like what you add to the program tonight?
Okay. Look, I got a lot of things in there we are the follow up on. They don't try to follow the registration. Maybe we say lawyer Sharon and the other gentlemen from London really spoke at Parliament. But the thing they will understand the way forward in all those things. I don't say none educated people, as we say and as we approved to be. But the people at the council on a lot the information on a piece. Because the reason why they say so it make a lot of sense. You think you know people that are listening, they take note of everything where they go. And I believe say let me also just make when you know one make it to the improvement that we find out against people will not connect to any politics, right? And people will talk truth to power. And who that get wrong, say they get wrong. Who said the Lord is for our men, because the Lord is for our men. Because when we go according to go back to the law. If we declare for democracy, the laws are not changed. And I will wonder what we done. And all the acts of government they act, I will the law, which is the law permission for this. So there's not any confusion on it. Because if we fix that, the aid for the problem, if we fix that, they'll be able to solve the problem. But if we're not able to fix that, the law gives that permission to do that, then you're allowed to do it. And they will problem there. You know? And in the same thing for ADC, for example, I listened to the Honorable last week, a few days ago, where they said they're not believe the courts, and they not go to the court. You not believe the court, but at the same court, the flag bearers go. At the same court, they use for the election, for the convention. So which you not believe now? So if you not believe the system, which you want to inside the system? Why you want it power? Let me take that.
And that's not a very good take, though. We will address all that. Thank you very much for what you call. And please stay tuned. And if you get additional comments or concerns, express them and call me back, and we will accordingly accommodate you. Yeah? All right. Well, one for say, Boku, thank you to we brought away first call, and it make a very valid point where it talk about saying, okay, well, you want for be part of the political system, but the court where you say you not believe in, that court they now irresponsible for interpret the constitution where now the Supreme Court. So if you not believe them, then who's else you go for let them interpret the constitution for you, because other jurisdiction, especially given that Salone now which we call sovereign state, meaning that we independent. So the people and way the constitution give the right or the mandate for let they interpret the constitution, and then people and they will listen to. So a very unfortunate and sad that we main opposition I would say at this point, given the numbers the way ECSL publish, do not believe in the court system. But I will come there though. So Famulem, let me go straight to the analysis. By the way, as I say, I go encourage una for let una share, because it's very important for let una share, so we go able to get as many people as possible with the listen. So the first thing first way I really want to touch on tonight, as I don't lay the stage now about this ECSL. So the ECSL then put out a press release. So that press release, the buckle of we, particularly me though, I don't know about Una out there, but maybe they expect say ECSL anything they put out, then go address the current waiting I go say deadlock where they happen right now. But it look like say they not do that. And the interview where this Agbagba Guy na 98.1, and I feel say it even help the situation. So what I go do, because I see beaucoup people that don't join in, and I for tell una plenty thank you. So what I go do for let we set the stage, because I want for read the part the way it quote. But because of the ECSL then put out, by the way, they even all a press conference and then say they invite the political parties them. But guess what? The people that don't ask say release the disaggregated data. That's when they say disaggregated. Now the AFAF one where you add up, forget the total. So waiting ECSL then do, then publish, waiting then call the total numbers them. So then total numbers then they then give we and say this is not the number and this is not the result. So APC now and even the international observers them, all the international observers them from knowledge, they say enough because the way they count, they not make them transparent. So because of that, then get a little bit of doubt in terms of the credibility of the numbers. So waiting they encourage ECSL for do, they ask them, say, well, eti una don't go na igbale, una don't make una own numbers them and give we a total. So yes, okay, for let we accept una total, we self get numbers them. So una give we the AFAF numbers that we una add up by polling station precisely. So we say go add them up and see if they're different with real numbers them, and maybe we go know outside the difference day and see if at all now we make mistake or now ECSL make mistake. So that way they will go try for correct term according to within the two party then get. The two like the observers them and also the ECSL. But this now waiting the ECSL put out. So again, I'm not going to try for read the whole thing because I don't want for make this program feel boring. I just want for read the main things them where we go will throw light and get a better understanding of the way how things then they go. So this now the press release, and then Pulam 3 days ago, we're now the 24th of July, 2023 press release, and you see ECSL name there right there. So it said the Electoral Commission for Sierra Leone will once more like to thank all Sierra Leoneans for participating peacefully in the June 24th 2023 multi-tier elections. And I must say though, with all this disagreement where we they get, rightfully the election be peaceful. So, but the question now where we get is if the result credible. But in terms of the peace, yes, the election be very peaceful. And the international observers themselves say that. They say the election it be very peaceful. So then day, yes, we go give ECSL a kudos for that. Then we'll not go take them away from them at all. Because according to them and according to the observers, even the domestic, the local observers them and international observers them, yes, the election be go peacefully. Unoyeri say except after where they say somebody died at APC head office or something like that. But during that the 24th June, the very day of the election, Unoyeri say any major incident happened. So we tell God thank you for that. And not only for tell God thank you, we need for commend them. We need for commend the ECSL, but above all, the security personnel, because people and they say, well, ECSL not to then a security, so this not a security. But I be kind of make something interesting. Say, okay, well, where something go well, we no one forgive the current administration praise we na President Bill, but we go bad, and this now something we get for do with security issue like the police, then we say President Bill. So now we get on both ways. So this one, let we say the ECSL and all the people involved, including the security personnel, then be able to do for let it be peaceful and it be peaceful. So before I continue for it, we get somebody on the line. Let me take this call because I want to be interactive. I know just one day they talk boku boku. I'll take this call. VOS Network. Hello, caller. What's your name and who side they call from, please?
I'm named John Songo.
Hello, John. Now you be called Alia or this is not different, John?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay.
I call from Ohio.
All right. Thank you so much, brother John. And go ahead. What's your contribution on the program tonight?
I really want to identify critical fundamental issues I believe we all they ignore.
Okay.
One, the rule of law.
Okay.
If we all want to be sincere to individual conscience, we first establish this fundamental fact that there is a reason why there is a court system. We all, in any nation within, there is a court system. There is a reason why laws are established. The electoral law of that country is flawed. One, the only reason why the Supreme Court is being established was not the only sole proprietor for declare and mandate ECSL for execute any ruling from them. That's the reason why people they choose them. If this election don't happen, let's assume that you lost. That's the reason why you have to prove to the court, not to ECSL. The onus not there on the ECSL for prove anything. The opposition will proclaim there's something wrong with the system, like the election will happen. The onus is on them. Present your evidence to this court. Let the court see all the laws and violate that law and say, we reject all that. Then you stand a chance for make you get international community for even pressure. Say you have Supreme Court, you have even violated your own standard of principles, but that don't happen. So if you want this aggregated data, there is nowhere in the electoral law, in the Constitution, where specifically declare that ECSL for present that. You will not forget say ECSL chairman is the only to get the free hand, just like the president of the Sierra Leone get free hand for just demand based on the constitution, what you want to do based on the many rights and privileges where the constitution get. The ECSL electoral laws give suggestions or options to the chairman for decide who side the law not clear, make him choose what he want to do for align with best practices. So if this tabulation, there's nowhere in that electoral law where it declares power this tabulation should be done or power enough for done.
John,
nothing in the law.
yeah, brother John, you dey make great point, and I get for point to the electoral act about that. You make great point. However, your time done. We get other people that are the line, but they are call we back though, yeah, because you dey make great point in terms of the law. And the point also where I get for make is the law versus what we call best practice. Because this law, not you go say pauper according to the law, but if you're not there, not the law. So it means you're not going to do the right thing for push the country go before. And you make great point, and I agree with you entirely. But I go like for sure, Sierra Leoneans them waiting the act say regarding what you talk so. But they allow we give other people a chance and they are call way back. I really like that point there where you make and a valid point. And thank you so much for making it easier for me. So thank you and call back here. Let me take another call, please. Thank you. All right. I got the people in the call. VOS Network. Hello, caller. What's your name and who side the call from, please?
John again from down in Australia.
Oh, okay. Wow. Well, John don't dominates the show. Thank you, brother John from Australia. So we just get one way call from US. So go ahead. What's in the additional contribution tonight, please?
Good. We'll go back to use on a platform because one of the largest platform for those send the voice to people. Because things will get for Columba we need. Because I made a suggestion we use this platform to say the right message to the right people. Because there's a saying says you got to be into win. So if you're not there, you're not going to win. But Joseph win place, you know, buy tickets, you're not going to win. So let's come back to the constitution issue, like as recently the Parliamentary Court Constitution. As you oversee democracy specialists, we get started from the specialists. They're not saying to cheat. The Chitu saying to specialists. This is one of the problems in this really fight the Sierra Leone. We get all kind of lawyers. We don't know who's Sierra lawyer specified. You go put lawyer where you get my way for do surgery, you go take and go do other phone. No. You got to get specific lawyer with a constitutional lawyer. But everybody they quote this law to your own way, to your own interpretation. It's just like when you get a Bible. Everybody they interpret it to your own way. But would I have to specify people there for this area? Would I qualify for this area? Maybe we get sets of people. Constitutional lawyer, you know, he said every lawyer can interpret constitution. It's a different term. Two, the election stuff, where we, this legislation and we listen to other legislation, we therefore try to condemn that. Say, look, use the system. The system is there to use. If you don't use the system, we say you won't get results. International body. No. Now the same system we use, where Paulo Conte against this, they use the courts. We, at the same system they use, where APC Wango Convention with a content, they address the issue. At the same system, it's the same thing, the leader that they praise the police there. Because it's bad, next challenge, you don't look good. This matter be you will call all them. It doesn't matter make this law don't exist. The biggest thing for this problem, we just go back and address that issue. Let us not shame to tell people they're working at the right thing. And one thing when we suggest we want to get the station, they will let for preach, then use the way people and they say, although make that use the say, that's so come for some more. It's bad for me, it's bad for the one that they are. So when you know right, we can for 50. I can get grip at the grip of the spirit. I can listen always and follow people. This is the best time ever at all. And I always say this message will go loud and clear. Let APC they go to Parliament, and Sierra Leone they elect them. They even you when coordinate, you can put APC in a court, or you can sue ECSL as long as you're union. You got the right. It is in a way accordingly. That's what makes APC they do the constitution or the Senate to the blood in the West, they check and see what you know for the Senate, the publisher. So it's public interest because they see what you for this, what you know for the inside. It's the same way. Don't put this thing to bed. We can't do this for movement. We don't go through war. We did it. We don't go through war. Education did it. It's everything they did. I don't have your suggestion.
And as always, great suggestion. Thank you. We get to that caller on the line. VS Network. Hello, caller. Waiting, your name inside the call from, please.
Yeah, this is Mike. I call from Philadelphia.
Hello, Mike. Thank you so much for we call. And waiting, you take on the program tonight.
We just want to say that this about ECSL. If they feel say they're credible, they feel say they can stand on what they do and the election credible, and for pull the result, and for publish the result. If they feel say, they're credible, and these are the people's court now. People's opinion, people's perspective of what they do now. Now we want to tell them also if everything is credible, because if he come out and say they pull 60% of the result, what we all know say a lie, and the tabulation and the calculation not correct, and we already don't tell them say they lie. Now therefore can prove we say now they lie. Now that's the way they wait for now. There's no need for call on APC for can pull their own result. So ECSL need to prove say they're not credible institution, so that way we will believe them next time. Because no need for going to court. It's not a court situation. It's not ECSL need to prove themselves. Because it's not the public they pay them. Now the people of Sierra Leone they pay them. So they need to prove to the people of Sierra Leone they're credible. And that's not what they ask for. Let them pull the result. And they need to pull the result. And that's what they wait for. Yeah. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much again for what you call. And fumble them. We get another call. So let me take this call from the WhatsApp. VOS Network. Hello, caller. Waiting your name and who say the call from, please. WhatsApp. Go ahead, please.
Hello, good morning. I'm Jonathan calling from Japan.
All right, Jonathan. Thank you so much. So I presume now morning na Japan.
Yeah. It's about 15 minutes to 10 Friday.
Oh, okay. Wonderful. So go ahead, Jonathan. Waiting that you take on this issue tonight.
First of all, I thank you very much, for your contribution towards nation building. I get 2 points then where I want to just contribute towards when I show. One, the electoral commission, and then with court system.
Okay.
Respect for the court, especially justice. Without justice, there is no democracy. One thing here we get to understand as Sierra Leoneans, the election done. We don't get a new president. We don't have the system already in place. So we should be very honest to ourselves.
Unfortunately, they come in and out. So you want talk close to the mic, please, or your phone. My phone you use.
Get me clear now.
Yes, better now. Go ahead,
one
please.
Thing here as Sierra Leoneans, we get to be very truthful to ourselves.
Okay.
And a high respect for the court system in our country. Without justice, there is no democracy. Few of you call us then and talk about the oppositions and they get right for going to court. Yes, of course, that was right. But let's look into our judicial system. You get cases then where Francis Magai don't complain. You get other cases then where the opposition don't complain during the course of the elections and then cases and they not been called then cases then they. And a situation where you get then kind of thing in the way credibility lacking a system, it becomes doubt. We get to be honest to what we do. The other one where I want to touch into the peaceful election. That kudos not go to the Electoral Commission or even the police. It goes to the people of Sierra Leone. The people of Sierra Leone on the
So,
24th
Angie, even the administration, kudos.
Can I land, please?
No, go ahead. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Why I say so for the people then they left their houses then 5 o'clock in the morning, then go na the polling stations with all the intimidation of delay ballot boxes to come for them, let them vote. Some places then at 11 o'clock, some places at 2 o'clock, the ballot boxes then come. You before expect anything, the people then be so much patient-minded. If you give them to the police, in case then they will do the next process, then this election they don't done. But let's go to the real thing, so that we're not going to repeat this again. We get for being honest to what they talk here. Where you get an election, wait for start 6 o'clock in the morning. It did up to about 11, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. People are not bring ballot boxes. What do they expect if the people are not being peaceful? First of all, you're not going to just look and you tell and say, okay, I give to ECSL or maybe give. The government not get nothing for do this thing. We get the body we're responsible for all this election. When Mohamed Kone. Me sometimes in the way the government they even come into in defense of even Mohamed Kone. Now, Mohamed Kone, the people don't get problem with. Now you get the responsibility for say, okay, this is it. Now you tell we on the 23rd, the materials they don't do now all polling stations, then the election ready for go out. Some places then the people then go there up to 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, they're not able to vote. Then you go give kudos to her. Then you go give kudos to the police. The police been there, but nothing not be happening. So the people of Sierra Leone, they be so much patient-minded. Look at that say clear. We have to be honest with ourselves. We have to change our attitude so that we all the fight for one thing, a better Sierra Leone. If Sierra Leone good today, it will be good for you, it will be good for me, it will be good for any other person else. But we have to be honest. Now the only way we will move this country forward. If we don't pass through this thing, so let's use them as an experience, let's use them as a roadmap. So we're not able to get them kind of problems there also tomorrow. The situation where they happy here, the people are not happy. Let's find where the one they were aggrieved, the one they will not they feel comfortable, let's bring them in.
Great
We are all
point.
Sierra Leoneans.
Yes, absolutely.
Beat around beat a drum for a second. Now you for dance this music, this other person for dance this music. Now me won't take that one. Let's be honest to ourselves. We all the fight for one thing. Which would they fight for? A better Sierra Leone. No matter you do that, any other person will do a better
all
Sierra
right. Yeah, unfortunately, time don't grip you. So give a call back. Yes, and thank you. We appreciate you take greatly. Thank you. God bless. All right, we fumble them and we call as them. They all sound very intelligent, I must say. And I want to say kudos to them all. They make them, in fact, a lot easier for me for sets the case. So as I read the press release from ECSL, let we go to the second paragraph. The second paragraph say, we also would like to thank the government of Sierra Leone for honoring its responsibilities to finance over 90%. This I will now underline them to finance over 90% of the costs of all the elections. We thank our development partners who contributed to the multilateral partners fund used to support civil society organizations and complementary activities like voter education and inclusion. All these activities led to the large voter turnout observed across the country. So I want to pause here first, and that's the way the last caller say ECSL, the observers them, international observers them, the UN, the United States, like most of the people that we don't comment on Sierra Leone election they be conduct last month, June the 24th, then commend the Salone people them. And so caller, I agree with you. Say we for praise the Salone people them as well for way they comport themselves and then they not the line very peacefully and take the election and vote. And go back now they host them. Yes, we for commend them. So ECSL make reference to that as well. But the side way I really want for Salone on the line. You see, now the problem, one of the problems then this way it necessary forget the audit service well and for the run well, and also for let the government not interfere by the activities. So now ECSL they claim say the government pay for 90% of the total cost of the election. So we not get no side for verify them. So that's not a thing. So now they say we not get no audit service for no, yes, if not two, who side them out and spend their money then they, because it very clear say the international community then pour money into that country there. So but ECSL they say yes, them pour money there, but the money where the international community give, it go towards the civil society organizations them. So it not go directly to ECSL because the government don't take care of 90% of the cost where the election take. So me question that number day, to be honest with you now. I question that number day because we all know say Salone no get money. So, and leading to the election, plenty of things that don't happen where then they ask for international observers, international partners then for help out. The census, they ask like almost every step of the way. So for like this election, we know say Salone government, the Tintianga for them, they not get money. Till they even end up for Gladi where IMF do additional disbursement before the election. So for like money them up to like a member at one point where ECSL say ECOWAS give them 500,000 US dollars. So usai all the money then they go for let you say how much the election cost in the first place. Where if EU and other international partners then don't put money into the process. So how much the government give away on us say 90% of the cost now the government give. So you see now all here where we not get sober audit service where the president don't indefinitely suspend the auditor general where in my opinion it will do a fantastic job where in fact the thing them where some of the reports that will be they put out the administration, the time where they be there in opposition, they use their reports then they for campaign against APC, reckless spending and things like that. Even the Ebola. So now we now get somebody where able for verify this number for we and try to understand the breakdown. If we be get somebody where I go select Laura Taylor Pierce, if we be able for crunch them numbers there for we until we say yes, but that 90% now this the government contribute towards and things like that. So again, this to me, I feel say at this point, I don't know really waiting for make of this number, and at the danger that way number or information just they come on at 1 quarter. You know, get other as areas them we go able for through a different picture or even ascertain say yes or confirm say yes this number in a true number or not. So I just want to bring that to on our attention because personally I kind of question the fact say 90% of the total cost now the government take care. I kind of find that very hard for belief say Salone get that money there for pay for election 90% of the election budget for the community country. And I'll be pessimistic, but I think that's not just the reality of it. And let me continue with what is saying. So this side that they are also want to pay particular attention. Whilst the ECSL awaits the final report of the various accredited observer missions, we note the repetitive calls, mostly indirectly, from some quarters, you urging the ECSL to take actions that do not fall under the laws of Sierra Leone. If I'm below now underline this so ECSL say they wait for accredited observer mission. Then pull this the 24th. Last week, I be telling us say the Carter Center then pull a report where the US ambassador retweet that report there. And that report they make and we read them a part of them, the previous program. So ECSL pulled this after that, but yet it try for say they wait for report from accredited observer missions. So I'm not able to understand if the Carter Center not considered accredited, or not just the EU observer missions they wait for. So that's not completely clear. Then the other thing where them say now, they say we noted repetitive calls, mostly indirect. Then we all know say not true. Directly, including the people that we say they wait, the observer mission, the European Union observer missions, they don't make them clearly directed at ECSL. So say, therefore, release the disaggregated data, the data by polling station. So why it is say now an indirect request, but they ask them directly for let them publish the result. So I don't understand where it is the ECSL they say this, and then continue for saying the commission will consider recommendations from the observer missions that will add value to the electioneering processes. The ECSL assures all that it will continue to be guided by extant laws and best practice proceedings in all its actions. We fumble them. You see, again, this is not the thing when Mr. Shilon they talk about, we bookman them. So they want play with words them and full order they not able to follow up. So how you go look and say you willing for consider recommendations from the that where they tell you say the elections they're not credible, the results that where you post they're not credible. So post or publish more data so it go able for help the Salone people and for clearly understand say yes, the election results then credible, and for let the doubt where we get with the foreign observers them for pull them doubts then they power we publish them, and now you they twist around and say you willing for consider recommendations. So how you they jump to recommendations where they ask you clearly? So if you publish the results, you go strengthen the electoral commission institution, and you go strengthen the democracy of Sierra Leone. So that by itself now demand and also recommendation. And now you they twist around and make like say, oh, they don't ask you for do anything. So you they wait now for let them send a recommendation as to how they go improve the process. Boy. So on a sort of they see how we people them they're very ingenious, because this is very clear. Say the international body don't make them very clear, not to think way they make two way about it at all. So it continue for say all such actions of the ECSL prior to or during and in this post-elections period have been strictly guided by national statutes and local and international best practices. The ECSL maintains that the declared results of the June 24th elections reflect the expressed will of the voters. We all know say this is not true. We all know that. So why therefore they continue to do this? So you talk say una meet international best practices, but the international people there we go observe the election. Now let me tell you say you approach transparent, then go say na best practice that. Boy. So we fumble the ECSL. So this way we then criticize them. We tell now the European Union observer missions the Carter Center, then even the American government, the European government, France, Germany, most of the advanced countries, then the Western countries, then when we go say now, then one and they will for look up to for assess in terms of democracy, international best practice. And then they say you meet all the international, the local and international best practices. Hey, bro, why you they like Pawiko one? Why? And then you say back the last sentence. So the ECSL maintains that the declared results of the June 24th elections reflect the expressed will of the voters. Hey, bro, now the voters, part of the voters, then they tell you, say, release them. So we go able for no say yes, the president really win, and all the one that we say they win, they really win. Then you say, you need to do them. And then you claim, say, you reflect the people and will. Hey, boy, so you want to play with English for stupid, the one they will not know? So again, let me sort of push a little bit before I show now waiting the start, because it talk about statute now, where it say they're strictly guided by national statute, where in this case will be the Public Elections Act. So I go show now the sequence where ECSL for be take. It did it clearly in the statute. So after where I show now, I go ask for let una self be the judge whether or not ECSL follow waiting then at the Public Elections Act. Where they say they strictly, they use that word, that adjective, that adverb, they strictly. So just imagine, and we all know waiting as strictly like to the letter. So let's pause there on ECSL because I don't read most of the areas them where I feel say on a need for know about. So let I play for una the interview where ECSL Agbagba, we are the operations director, I believe, Guy at 98.1. So let's play the interview and I go come right back. So for people that we want for the read now the screen, I go to scroll small. Let us have the read the rest of ECSL, the press release while on we all they listen to the interview. Okay, so let me play the interview. Me fumble them because I really want for like we clearly get this right. So let's pull them up now.
Get waiting the to get for do with the delay we don't take on for publish something we on already say on get because now based on that on announce the final results. Waiting the prevent on for put down the public and publish them when are based on on announce the result.
Well, again, you say delay, not current delay.
But you not come on it.
No, but not to delay because if you say delay is like it's supposed for come out at this time and you not come out at that time, then you can't delay.
It's almost a month after the election.
But it doesn't mean that it's supposed for come out at that time. There is no law where Bible say at this point if it happen at this time, and if not at that time, they will say it don't delay.
So waiting the
no,
prevent
now they come. You know, again, make a come back. At the beginning of this discussion, I talk say the judge and electoral process based on two factors: legal framework and best practice. Okay, legal framework and best practice. When we conduct the election, anything we do, if it did in line with the law and we not do them, you go say we don't default or we don't delay. If you know in the law, say do it at this time, then the commission will take in time for do waiting if I do because one for insurance, whatever I do, I get it right. And that's what the commission is doing.
So in terms of the lesson learned or looking back on things where una can consider as mistake after any electoral process, how much una can really consider and work on them? Because in any election we keep happen, some of them mistake they keep on repeating itself. Especially the example I go give, the one we get to do with voting material going at center on time.
No, well, again, we learn from every electoral process.
So why not improve on the timing if we learn from every process?
We improve greatly.
House one exactly.
Improve greatly. Now, I can tell you, say, the only area we have been get challenged with late arrival of material is Western Urban. In the rest of the country, all materials arrive on time, pools open on time. In the rest of the country. And before now, in 2018, that was the main challenge. The main challenge was how do we get materials to these centers on time, because we get far away places. But because of the lessons learned, Western Urban, we get it wrong. So again, that's a lesson learned. We go for learn the lesson there and try to improve on them so that by next election, we will forget Western Urban and the rest of the country. Right.
It's actually we see concern come out from some people who will not be employed, but will not pay it. How far on that?
Yes, we. Now it's true, and the commission they work strongly towards that, and we really hope that by the end of the week we'll go before the that station day. I wish for use opportunity for their thanks and appreciation to the polling staff them for their patience. We understand say it don't delay a little bit, and as a result of that, we say thanks to them for their patience, and we made them be small, and that very very soon we ensure say we deal with that.
So back to the issue of the disaggregated the disaggregated results data where people they wait for. The commission is saying for going it. How long it go for take for finally publish them figures there so people so that the one that we closely monitor the election go able to forget the results them go publish this from the disaggregated figures them and then for compare to waiting them in get regarding the announcements of the results. How long it go for take for publishing?
When the commission ready, we publish the results. But we there's no way they give you time. Say this is when we do them because the law no give time for that.
So now not get them disaggregated figures down, not get them, not get the data.
Of course we get the data.
Why not go just publish them?
No, we need just publish like that. The commission, like I say, is an institution, and as an institution, the leadership of the commission, they meet with the staff of the commission. We get discussions before the commission decide what next.
All right. So before we wrap up the program, since the announcement of the results, we see the main opposition, the All People's Congress (APC) party, still stand. Say they're not going to be part of this governance because for them the election results we the ECSL announced, you not go through all the procedures them way is supposed to go through. They don't make it transparent as it's supposed to be, and they don't get their own position as a party where, according to the APC, they don't get issues with President BU, they don't get issues with President BU in government, but they get issues with the ECSL. Wait till I make up of them concerns here where they come from the main opposition with only the ECSL.
There's a process. The law make it clear that after the announcement of result, if you agree with the announcement of result, you can take the matter to court. You know, so we don't wish that whichever party will agree take the matter to court. Because when you take the matter to court, then both parties will get opportunity for present evidence in court for prove the case. So for we wish that happen. Okay, so we now have control over waiting then we'll say. But we will wish that then go with the law because that's what the law says.
So for them, from when they make this call, all waiting them in need and follow una address the concerns and waiting the raise. We one pan and get for do it. Them disaggregated results data ya where you say una get, but una not they tell people them yet when una go for publish them because the law not permits una for get any stipulated time say from now to now una go publish them. So you accept say the ECSL now one of the problems we make the governance day like I did so today.
Like seriously, you think say this is now?
Because you say when I get the figures them. So for bring a solution to something, why wanna not go just publish?
Why
and say if not this one they ask for,
why not ask APC? Why not ask APC? Then they claim say the results not correct. Then say wrong, right? Why not ask APC? Why then produce what they get? What different from what?
So the ECSL una they manage and conduct election. Una supposed to give the public.
We don't give out what we believe is correct.
Take for read
we don't give out
results.
We don't give out a result, right? We don't give out a result, and that result gets figures, isn't it?
We disaggregated and una self no say it disaggregated
figures, and we give political parties, every political party results forms, give it to them. So if a political party feel aggrieved, come on, the logical thing you should do is one, present or produce your result. If you really believe, say, what you say correct, produce what you get about.
So we make una no for produce.
Secondly,
produce the disaggregated
go to court. Or secondly, go to court. Okay, so if you not produce what you get as a result, and you not go to court, but they still claim say they rogue you.
So if they're not produce, una no go produce on your own?
That's not what we are saying. We are saying we go produce when we want to produce.
With that the timeline not different.
We go produce when I will produce because law not give you timeline. As to when we produce. We as a commission we go by the law and we act in accordance with the law.
Alright, many thanks to you Canada program this morning. Mohammed Ture, Director of Operations and the Electoral Commission of Sierra Leone. Thank you, Canada this morning.
Most welcome, thank you.
Now this edition of the program, Good Morning Salone Golefona. Plenty thank you to the production team.
All right, to one for say boku thank you to Good Morning Salone, we na 98.1 the program and the Mabel he impressed me very much. He asked all the pertinent questions them. So fumble them before I can give me take on this. We got a caller on the line. Let me take this call and you're waiting the caller for say because I want to be about to now. VS Network. Hello, caller. Waiting on your name and who say the call from, please?
Hello, good evening. My name is Abdullah. I call from New Jersey, US.
Hello, Brother Abdullah. Thank you so much for your call. And waiting on you take on this issue tonight, sir. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, two specific things. One, I've been listening the area where we talk about, would I forgive kudos about which the government, ECSL or so. But I think one caller just said the right thing, that are the people of Sierra Leone. We wake up 4 o'clock in the morning and then are polling stations them already with the expectation say stations will go open at 7, so not open till 11. In fact, one station they where one civil society, somebody say it shocked everybody that one station at 8 p.m. open. I think it had been just one isolated case that one day. Well, if yes, I understand, we're not really shooting, we're not really killing that moment. Because the ECSL and the government, then conspiracy, they as planned. Then plan for delay, then get as less people will go to the poll. Unfortunately, larger turnout happen. Unfortunately, they not allow them to exercise their right. If you go open polling station 12 midday for close 5 o'clock, although then do extension later in the day, we're not even right. Then we only follow the procedure. There not be need for extend polling beyond 5 o'clock. All that in a big part of the plan. Because once they extend that beyond 5 o'clock for vote till midnight, then get the opportunity for sneaking stuffed ballot boxes. So as far as me concerned, up to which we just explained so, ECSL and the government again not side for what they call Naya. I'm telling you, after the election announcement, or the 60%. For till you say the government's not be ready, When then feel say the opposition for begin make gladdy, now then your party officer then send armed people and for go shoot there and kill somebody there. So the government not be even ready for provide security. It's the people of Sierra Leone that deserve all the praise in this case. Secondly, listen to this gentleman on 98.1 where they talk about ECSL following the law, two aspects, the law and best practice. For God's sake, then people are not ashamed in the lack. But actually what they call shame and integrity not there at Sierra Leone again. I'm telling you, none of them two things and then ECSL not comply with. If you talk about the law, everything we didn't say prior to the election, in many, many shape or form, they violate them. Coming to best practice, okay, the law now one. We know say the law now straight thing. We think say na for do anything other than that na violation of the law. Certain things the law not even clear, even at the civilized world. Una they consider best practice. This not something where if we do the public go frown at, then we do see we not credible. These are best practice. I don't know if you understand what they talk or then just write for them guy and a ECSL team that wouldn't supposed for the talk and they read us and they read them now in black and white. Which is having the best practice we then follow it up to now. People are demanding. It's not been only the Sierra Leonean people or the opposition, okay, but even international foreign observers the way they did in person. Then they demand for something we will still know the produce and say, oh, they argue blatantly out of ignorance, argue the interviewer, say, or no law no say, then for publishing now. Okay, no law no say for publishing now. What about best practice where they talk about? At least for allay the fear or the confusion of people.
Yes.
They say the thing not credible. Una produce this thing. What's not the hold up? But under the same ECSL they demand say, let the opposition produce the RRF. Can you imagine?
All right. Well,
the request to let the opposition produce RRF.
Unfortunately, though, yes, please.
It's sad. Anyway, thank you very much.
You're welcome. God, that people are they wait. VOS Network, WhatsApp, go ahead, please. What's your name and who side you call from?
Hello?
Yeah, so we'll not get your name clearly. Go ahead. What's your name and who side you call from?
I call from Germany.
Okay. And go ahead, please. It's okay if you... Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, because me won't take... We are listening this from the interview from the ECSL man. You know, like for saying just like a setup. You know, you see, the only thing we may understand, just like a setup. The only thing make APC they not go no side because Una as ECSL now they're in charge of this election. The only thing for solve this problem, Una pull the data, everything's finished. You know, all this, you know, where somebody they can't talk, say, make APC go to court, this, that. No. You see, ECSL when the police thing, but the only thing we may understand, you know, from this interview, you know, from the radio station, like a setup, you know, as no understanding, for me, a setup, which meeting. Okay, thank you very much.
Oh, okay, that's short and sweet. Thank you so much. We get another caller on the line. Let me take this call. VOS Network. Hello, caller. What's your name and who say the call from, please?
Good evening, Mr. Campbell. Concerned citizen calling from Washington.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Concern. And go ahead, please. What's your contribution for tonight?
Well, my man, first of all, I want to start by thanking you, Mr. Campbell, for always the brilliant analysis. And by the way, I still wait for you though to do an economic analysis between Sierra Leone and Guinea. You've been promised me.
I'll be doing on Saturday. You know, we joined the program.
I've been missed out. Okay. I will look at that video. I will go and look back.
And I'll not be go extensively though, but I sort of talk on briefly because I want to wait to wait everything settled. Because for now we're there in uncharted territory, as the Englishman can call them. So I want to wait for like things then stable. Then yes, I go use a program where I go do extensive economic analysis and with a forecast as well.
Very well. Okay. Well, moving forward with all this, then I would love to see that because to tell you the truth, Mr. Cabo, frankly, I'm sick and tired of all this politics in our land. I want to move forward. The reason I want to move forward, because for the last 60 years, since the inception of our country, we have these two political systems. In fact, they are the only two political systems that have been in any African country from the inception. But the unfortunate part about it is these two political systems, and I don't blame them so much, I blame our people. We have voted for these two criminal entities for the last 60 years. We have done this over and over and over and over again, expecting a different result. And not the same result they would get. All the while they would cry about APC not win, if not the APC been coming back inside, not the same result would get. Because none of them, if you look at both political party or both presidential candidates, did not give us any detailed policy, say, for something for 5 years or 10 years or 15 years. All their stupid policies that they give is a bandage policy. How long as a nation would they go on this bandage policy? You know, 50 years later, 60 years later, we still know you will feed with people then. 60 years later, we not get basic clean water in our land. 60 years later, we not get basic electricity to power our economy and power the life and improve the life of our people. We have a program with doctors and we would take care of in Salone. We don't see with doctors and they struggle in a corner hospital in the middle of surgery where lights they go off. Now they phone them that they use as light. $2.9 billion with Ebola funded, not even one clinic built in the country. I can go on all day. Again, all Sierra Leoneans, they point finger to the worst people in our society, who would they elect? But now we elect them. For the last 25 years, we have a chance to elect good people, but we choose to elect the worst in our society to represent us, and we expect a different result. To me, that is insanity.
Yes, the typical definition of insanity.
You know, so until we, Sierra Leone, look inward, we need to look at ourselves, because the leader, then we they pick them. How would you choose them?
Oh, I really want for you all great points then, but we get another caller on the line, and that will be fair to him as well, yeah. And you always give me great points. I truly appreciate you, even when you comment and when you call. So keep up the great work. And I believe so at one point you be try to encourage we gather money and go sue ECSL under the Information Act.
Yes, sir. Right. And me, I'd go home in September. If nobody in the Salone not do me they go do.
Well, unfortunately, you know we will do because it is very clear on the act saying Uda vote.
Well, I go find Mr. Cabo. I go find somebody who I go pay. That's alone this.
Okay. All right. Well, let we know how down they go. We will probably help you raise money.
Inshallah, by the grace of God. Thank you so much. Keep going, keep doing what you do. Continue to be balanced, transparent, and truthful. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much as well. God bless. All right. VOS Network. Hello, caller. What's your name and who say the call from, please?
Yeah, this is Mike again from Philadelphia.
Hey, Mike. How are you? Go ahead, please. Continue with your point. You will make great point. So I hope the next 3 minutes you'll be able to finish your point. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, but the thing with ECSL is now they invite the international community, right? You invite somebody in a house, and then when the person question what you they do, now you get problem with that. Now they invite them for come observe the elections, and they say the election not credible. So why you not go prove to them say what you do is credible? And this thing wouldn't they continue for ask APC, say APC for providing results. No, not an APC problem. This is an ECSL problem. These are the Salone people and they ask you, say, they for provide this result. And I don't care if you go up or down, you go provide this result. Yeah? ECSL, we must provide this result. You know what I mean? We don't care who that win. We just want to make sure say that institution is credible. Because no institution again not left Salone way credible again. The judiciary is not credible at all. You know, the police, the military, every institution are not credible again at Salone. So the ECSL again, they join that same path there. I'm not saying that in the right direction they go to Sierra Leone and for your own country a good one. You know. So me they ask ECSL, this not get nothing for those APC. This get for do with una. Una get to provide the results. And una go provide them for we. We want to see who that win. So the country go there at peace. Now then they will wait for. Yeah. Una left for the ask APC. The international community got ask una the same question, una they beat around the bush. Una provide the results. And then that we need. You know, una say una get the results. Una provide them. Una say una credible. Una provide. That's the argument not the panic. Provide the results. I don't know what to wait for. I mean, own contribution on this.
And great one at that. Thank you very much. Short and sweet. Thank you. So, fumble them. We don't listen to all we call as them. And to me, I believe say at this point, here is the key. I want to read this thing very quickly before I will go to the Elections Act. Let me take it step by step. This now, excuse me. This now in, I believe, say, in response to the video we they make round, where we even be playing of one Australian interview, where the post with the interview, talk about, say, ECSL boss, Madabio, even point gun aid for like he go announce the result. So the part of the press release, they make them for like we know, say, all waiting they do, they not force them. So according to the press release, it say the ECSL would like to inform the public that at no point in time was the Chief Electoral Commissioner, the commissioners, and staff of the ECSL placed under duress by His Excellency the President or any government official. Suggesting claims of that nature by misinformed persons on social media are malicious and dangerous to our democracy. So we put this to rest. Ain't no say do not put gun on it. And if that's not the case, well, we're glad. So we glad say it act on your own. So now let us go now to what we call then call statutes according to the press release, where it says strictly guided by the statute. So the first thing first, let we begin for understand the process. Like after we you don't get the result, like the people that don't vote, the steps them where ECSL be supposed for take. So this now for una we get this now section 92 of the Public Elections Act 2022. So last year. So according to this act, we even quote them there. So I want to read them. The district returning officer shall, this not to say may or we go say it get option, but this now by force, shall, upon request of the statement of the result of the poll from all the polling stations located in the district, compile a summary of all the statements of the results from the polling station concerned and certify as many copies as may be required for each summary to the regional returning officer, showing the number of votes cast for each constituency candidate, or as the case may be, each candidate in any other election held in the same day. Let's interpret and for now. So the first step, after we they don't make, they don't vote, then all the polling stations them, they're supposed for hand them over to the district returning officer. So the district returning officer again for certify them, again for make sure say all waiting he receive, then they in place. So again for say yes, I receive all, and they all day in order according to law and all then thing a day. So now they certify. And where they don't, where the district returning officer don't agree, again for send them the votes them to the regional returning officer. We're going to show the numbers them for each constituency, but given that the PR system, so then say as the case may be, each candidate in any other election held on the same day. So we all know say all the elections them except for paramount chiefs are the same day. So the district officer take them from the polling office agents them and then send them to the regional officer after where the district returning officer don't certify, it don't verify, say yes, everything in place. So let me read on and see the other aspect, the other step where ECSL for don't take. So that's the number one. So the number two step is say certified copies of the summary compiled under subsection 1 shall be supplied to observers or counting agents present at the office of the district returning officer. So meaning that before it can go, that's not the district officer, before the district officer carry them votes here to the regional returning officer, if I don't make enough copies of the summary, una get the summary, like each polling station and all that. So that summary day is supposed to make enough copies them and supply the observers them and the counting agents them, like the party agents them and stuff. And this now something we is supposed for do. So you wanna see the main reason why the observers then say they want for let ECSL pull out, waiting, then get where they add, we come to the total we then publish, because then get numbers them. I want to get this critically where ECSL they talk about, and some of una the supporters then the so-called loyal supporters them, where una say ECSL numbers credible. So according to this act, where now section 92 of the Public Elections Act, it make it clear, say the district returning officer if make copies them of the summary from the polling stations them, and then if shape make beaucoup copies them, where if shape them copies here to observers them and also agents them. So meaning that the observers then get numbers. But if ECSL they don't publish their numbers and then the observers then say their numbers then they're not credible. But this you don't need for get PhD. So what do it mean? It means say the number where the district returning officer give them, then numbers then they then different from the total where ECSL publish. That make them say not credible. So now they want to see if the numbers then where the district returning officer, now then the numbers then they give them by the polling station them, they want to see who side the difference they. If the numbers they will then give them versus the numbers where ECSL publish. But ECSL not publish breakdown as then get breakdown of the numbers them. So una see where you don't need for get PhD for understand the observer then position, because if waiting then get where then Adam, if it be the same where ECSL publish. I not feel say, even though they not be suicide and count, but I not when they do the overall, like the national tally, I not feel say them for be question that. Because according to this, they're supposed to get a copy of the result. So that's now one side where I want for let una pay particular attention, where ECSL say they follow the statute. But this clearly because APC and other political party and independent people they say the ECSL they make announcements where even the regional officers do not certify. They're not even complete for count the results date, then they don't make announcement. So the question now is, who side and pull their numbers then they, where they add to and get the number where they declare the election? Who side and pull their numbers then they? But then they I go left them for the APC and una thoughts. So let me move on. The number 3. So section 92, section 93, subsection 3. So I want for read this. Leone says, pay attention to it. The regional returning officer shall, and this is not so optional something, or this not by force, shall, upon receipt of the copies of the summary of results compiled under subsection 1 by each of the district returning officers in the electoral area, compile a summary of all the results received from the district returning officer and shall supply certified copies of his summaries to the national returning officer and an observer or counting agent present. So when I see the layer, so the first layer, now the district returning officer, now you for summarize the result, compile them, and then he verifies, say yes, the results here are authentic, who's one valid, who's one not valid, and all that. And then he send them after where it don't satisfy, he send the result here to the regional returning officer. And that regional returning officer instead the compile and make sure say he receive them all and is satisfied. He verify all the copies them. And waiting it they do now, then copies them then they send to the national office where now they corner the person where they make the final pronouncement. Now that office they the national office, and not to only corner the give, they give observer and counting agent were present at the time, where in the verify the results then they. But waiting we say Potloko, for example, if it in on social media, Potloko be still the count, the regional officer, and not be verified the numbers they hit, but ECSL go and announce. So the question now is, according to the law, the statute. So the statute say you for wait till the two areas them, the district and the region, they don't verify all the numbers here. Then they send them a national office until only then it will make announcement. So let me read number 4. So subsection 4, me fumble them. Subsection 4, and this not to me right time. This now the SSFK I'm gonna Parliament for let Parliament pass them. So after we Parliament don't pass them, why they not comply with waiting them pass na Parliament? So subsection 4 say the national returning officer shall, this is not optional, now by force. The national returning officer shall, upon receipt of the summaries referred to in subsection 3, cause those summaries to be tallied and computed, and shall at the end forthwith declare the result of the election or elections as follows. So una see whose term corner be supposed for announce after we don't certify all the the polls, the votes them. So in now they can tally their results, then they summarize them, and then it can go ahead now and make the announcement. But to according to what's published on social media, ECSL not do that. So they not wait let the regional officer certify the results and not wait. And this, according to this, is supposed for wait because, and they not give an option. They say shall, upon receipt of the summaries referred to in subsection 3, then if we summarize the results, then they put them in a computer or compute them, and then at the end, it can declare the result. So this now how if we declare the results. In the case of the election for a president held the same day, in the manner prescribed in section 51, and ensure that the statement of the result of the polls and the sealed packages containing the voting papers and all other documents relating to the election, including all forms, whether used or not, are securely kept by the Electoral Commission. And the second part now, I don't know if all this seal, they still keep all sealed and stuff. I'm not go able to speak to that. So the second part now, saying in the case of an election of the members of Parliament, the number of votes cast for each constituency candidate. So it's pretty similar. But the fact of the matter is here, where APC and Charles Magai and the independent, some independent candidates them as well, say ECSL go and rush and make announcement where still the regional office returning officers them, then still be they do then counting, then still be they do then compilation. So the question now is, one, why ECSL rush and announce result when not complete? I know say then talk about 60%, and after which they declare the president, say then get over 98% or so of the results, so meaning that the one that we outstanding nor significant enough for change anything. So it call them out. So but the question now is, according to the press release, then say they strictly go by the the Public Elections Act, when a statute, when a parliament passer. So that's the one thing. And the other thing though, where I want to also bring to our attention now is, and this na him na the ulala, okay, we don't all the country. So I go like for sure una like we put them to rest. That interview we'll listen to. If that interview the person, the operations officer, is right or not, I go show now and I will give my own take on it. But clearly looking at section 92 of the Public Elections Act, a very clear say ECSL not follow, in my opinion, do not follow the electoral acts, the proper process. Because otherwise, the regional officers then they're not for complain and not for doubt. Usai ECS, Usai Kone pull their numbers, then they will announce. So, but here is in terms of the publication for publish the result. So, publication of result. So this now section 93. So section 93 say I want to pay attention to the beginning. As soon as maybe after the national returning officer has declared the result of the election or elections under subsection 4 of section 93, the Electoral Commission shall publish the results so declared in the case of an election of 1A. President, this na ya kone get right. And the person where they interview self right. I no say there is a difference between the best practice and the law. So this way then say if I publish the result. Clearly the act say if I publish the result. But look at how they ask him for publish the result. So for president, in the manner prescribed in section 52. And members of parliament by government notice and in any other manner. Listen to this. So, in any other manner as he may think fit. How you go give somebody this kind of power? Say you decide. And that decision they connect a sidumpa. Say in terms of publishing the result, it don't publish something. But in terms of disaggregated result, to be honest, not they na the act. Say if I publish disaggregated result. It say if I publish result and in your result, numbers them. Whether we believe them or not, it don't publish them. And then they don't satisfy this part of the act. So now they refer to section 52. So let's show una section 52 where they refer to. So according to the Public Elections Act, section 52 say, the national returning officer shall, again not to option here, shall, after declaring the results of a presidential election, A, subject to paragraph A and F of subsection 2 of section 42 of the Constitution, issue to the successful candidate a certificate of election in the form prescribed in Form B in the 5th schedule. And the second part, when I B, as soon as possible, when I get this, so as soon as possible, cause the election of the result of the election to be published by notice in the Gazette and in any other manner that he may think fit. You see, section 52 not talk about disaggregated data. Any other manner that he may think fit. So the only thing here is for like publish them na the Gazette, where na publicly. So whose kind result if I publish and not they na the act. The act say let him decide. So me fumble them, you see how it don't come for Hunt APC? The Elections Act, then pass them, then vote for them. So the Elections Act, it give Kone so much power. Kone, what did he do? Like a press release. A type paper, and not show breakdown on nothing. And he absolutely right. And the person will do the interview, he absolutely right. Two things. No date, not stipulated. Say as soon as possible. As soon as possible, and can talk say, oh, then still get challenges like how Connor say. It get for take time for get the disaggregated data and stuff. By the way, me fumble them. The act not talk about disaggregated data. So the only appeal what we need now for appeal to Connor, now waiting in say international best practice. And the international body don't ask them for publish the disaggregated data where then self get, according to the act, say the district of returning officers for give them a summary of the data by polling station. So, but to some extent, yes, the process where wait stay the regional officer certified the results, and I don't know whose result he get, where he do the announcement, then they clearly follow the act strictly, like how in claim. So then they false. But waiting through is stipulate any side where I read the act say is supposed for publish disaggregated data and not say no side. And also, when if a publisher specifically, no sign or day. So then loophole here, where I believe say, just like how the Constitution, where Joseph Saidu Momo in time, where APC folks then deliberately left some loophole them for push Salongo behind. Because they loophole then they then go use her now for staying at power for as long as they able manipulate the system. So now the similar vein then do this Public Elections Act last year. They left all them tier deliberately for give Corner so much power that electoral how una go put the country a whole election process now the hands of one person. Say that person then I go decide. Una not don't make a semi-god. How one person? Why una not guide them? Or at least say a board, a team. But one person, let him decide how he want publish, what he want publish. I dey paraphrase now, yeah. And now we all they cry. But he didn't the act. We get a call, let we take this call, and then I go come back and talk about Abbas Bundu in statement. VOS Network. Hello caller, waiting your name and who say they call from, please.
Hello, Abdullah Say from New Jersey. Hello, Mr. Cargo. Hello, viewers.
Yes, brother Abdullah. Thank you so much for calling again. What thing you take on this one, please?
Yeah, thank you. Before I go further, the question where I want to ask,
yes,
the National Elections Act, from which you will read some of them areas in the GISNO.
Yes.
Now the Act of 2022.
Yes.
Or I don't know if I'm correct.
Yes, the Act of 2022. Yes.
Good. So it means that's happened. This act was developed under the watch of President Bio.
Yes, correct.
So this just tells you, yes, everything they put in that act, say them well calculated ploy for its other political parties. I know this specifically say the APC now, but everybody knows that the truth is after SLPP is not in power, the next party they think of particularly on APC. Just like if APC in power, after APC, the next one they think of SLPP. So yes, Kone may not have followed all of waiting state that act did. Because definitely that's so them prepare them anyway.
Yeah.
That's so them prepare them.
Yeah.
So if in the claim now say, or we the feel say yes, the act not really specifically say for publish disaggregated data. Okay, that's fine. What about the thing that where the act say where they feel for do? That is prior to election and during election. What about that one in there? So when I look at the whole thing in totality, you know, see the government corner is not a calculated ploy for steal election from the people of Sierra Leone. I'm not even talking about stealing election from the opposition, because it's not the opposition only. We wake up that morning 4 o'clock for going to a polling station and wait hours and hours before they even able cast their votes. With some not even and not believe they able cast their votes that day. It's not just the opposition. I mean everybody else. You see, if they not be don't plan this thing for dubious game out of it all, enough for me happen. I'm telling you, things are not for happen so. Now, looking at that, the very part of the act, the same act, we talk about sharing this information, pulling information with district members them, we involve the party representatives them, up to going to regional level, up to national.
Yeah.
They're not even follow that. Then this then are the act too. Then decide not for follower.
Yes.
But now all of a sudden then they follow the fact say the act not specifically say that for publish disaggregated data anytime soon. I mean, as soon as possible can be in the next 3 years.
Exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
So now we see the disingenuity now because they pick waiting there for work with the act and ignore waiting to go favor them and the government. So that just tells you, that just exposes them further. They continue to expose them further. There's nothing. Even even when you look at things they would intend for do right, the things they would intend not for do right, just they negate all of that rightful effort of them. So at the end of the day, my own concern is the people that will say, oh, well, let's move on. Oh, let no election, no the way credible in the entire world. Let them people and they look at the other way again. Say, are we ready to continue in this path as a country? Because no matter what it takes, no matter, even when APC in a power one party for how many years, how many decades, they had to leave that position one day. So the same thing will happen. SLPP continue now, then set up one party system. The one that will argue now in their favor, then they know say there will be a time where SLPP no go did it. Are we expecting to go in this path as a nation? Not for we now, but the Peking will not even born it, and they will develop trouble for even before they come to the world. Now this Sierra Leone they don't think of right now.
Yeah.
It's very sad. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Brother Abdullah. And I'm glad the way you recognize that. Because now two things here. The act, now the law, yes, that's now another issue where I get from APC term. Did they cherry pick, waiting, favor them, then talk, according to the Constitution, it give you the mandate in the ECSL, plenty term. By the power confided in me, section this of the Constitution, it quotes the Constitution. But where enough favor waiting it they do, it make like you not even know say it in the act or the Constitution. And again, the president self they do that, and ECSL they do them now, and even the ACC they do them like tin them way suits them. Then champion Constitution, but where not go in favor of waiting they want do, then they even make like it in the Constitution, and that's wrong. So the people and where we suppose for rely on, for read the Constitution, where according to in theory checks and balance, when the judiciary, guess what? It's like in my opinion, the judiciary they just told the line. Because I will give you an example. I don't give that example last week. The Auditor General can go case na court. Say the president is suspend him unlawfully and all that. So the president say he go set up tribunal for let them look into in case and stuff. Then set up the tribunal, and then the tribunal call the case. Then say they not prepare the evidence it and stuff. Guess what? If in any sober court, from that point they dismiss, they pass an order and say, "Una need for reinstate the woman. Una not get sufficient case against them. Otherwise, una for don't prepare una evidence before even una proceed for." And in fact, they not be supposed for suspending. But another weak part of the so-called law where we get a Salone. Say if they investigate you will step aside. Me fumble them. So the government can just cut out no more. You get issue, so they investigate you. Then you step aside. Seriously? Now sober law that one day? Now the person when they investigate you, where they mount the investigation. Now if I ask you for step aside, so then they not give incentive for let them investigate anybody where they not want an office. So you see how we APC under Momo, how now remember now that make are they warn, because this is now warning to me Salone brothers and sisters. This way where we they encourage President Bill, the damage where they cause right now, it go follow that country they probably for the next 20-30 years. Ustem Joseph Saidu Momo don't come on a power. That 1991 Constitution, where they arrange them for APC go then a power for very long time. Then do all kind thing to suppress people them and give so much power by the party to the party, the president and all that. But you see how God can have it. They overthrow him. Where they overthrow him and not to APC win. The first democratically elected, organized elections. na Salone, na SLPP win. So SLPP now, Kabakam, it be a beneficiary of that same constitution. They take advantage of and instead doing things that not change any major aspect of them. Koroma come, say and like say, you know what? Even though Justice Cowan make recommendation and whatnot, say I will go take power for myself. Let continue for remain powerful, and even use the constitution. They misinterpret, in my opinion, because according to even ECOWAS court, they say not to be the correct interpretation of that part of the constitution where former President Koroma is sack Sam and Sumana. And now Mother Bio are just beneficiary. And INSEF, they add more to now they use parliament now, pass all kind of act. Where it commodity, guess what? Because like how my brother say, Abdullah, probably the next 10 years or so, it will still be APC, SLPP, where go dominate the politics in the country. So if SLPP commodity, APC calm day, guess what? The same president building party, SLPP, now then go to begin cry now. Just like how APC, where initially, now then put together this constitution, we don't turn bone na Salone people and throat. And none of them now go put the country first and say just like how Kenya do. This whole constitution, let we call international people them and let them engage with we local people that we know constitutional law and let them redraft this constitution. We go into a referendum. Salone people them gets for say yes, we want this new constitution or not. If they adopt them, we turn a new page. The president gets so much power. And not a president be again Sefo. Now Momo. Joseph Saidu Momo. Now be try for gain self so. Because if we want go trust money and IMF, one of the condition, World Bank and all that, then say if we go back to multi-party system. Not to say now because elect the country or it just decides say, oh, let the country go back to multi-party. No. Now, because of now part of the condition for let it get loan. So it not be see no way. And waiting it try for do for let it go gain a power for as long as it live. It try it go bring constitution where we all know it favor the president so much. The similar thing we they do so. How you go put say this person now in they call the result. And I go choose waiting for publish. Who stand for publisher? Ebo, not too much power that one day. So then they in a recipe for failure. Because when you get somebody where not get the country at heart, where una don't feel say, oh, na patriotic say Leone and he go do something in the interest of the country. But guess what? Can't they do them? Because where it come to side, where it believes say, in order in the interest or other in the interest of the person where they serve, we may not know. And then they touch themselves. I'll be showing now an example of the formula. It did not the act. The formula where they're supposed for use for decide the seats them, where they call the threshold. You not use the formula within the act. You use a different one where you go produce APC, SLPP and kick out them small party there. And even independent folks them, and then get the result where they look at, where they look for with their manipulation day. So me fumble, before time they catch let we go to Abbas Bundu. Because instead now another person way Salone for be careful of. I go show now why. He write 3-page statement, announcement as they call them. As soon as they see on the screen. And now 2 days ago, on Tuesday, when at the 25th of July, I go just read the first paragraph, and then I go go on the side where disturb me. Where I believe so now say go find very disturbing. It said today, 25th July 2023, marks the third sitting of this 6th Parliament to which A total of 149 members have been duly elected by the citizens of this country in the last general election held on 24th June 2023. The first sitting being on 3rd and 13th July, when those of you seated here today took your oath of office as members of Parliament. The second part says, second paragraph, there are 54 seats to my left, preserved exclusively for those members elect of the All People's Congress Party APC who are yet to present themselves to the House to take their seats. Like all of you, they too have been declared duly elected by the Electoral Commission of Sierra Leone, ECSL, and apart from Honorable Mohamed Bangura. So now this now the only person now APC will show up. So now him it is preso. So apart from Mohamed Bangura, so it's for sort of say who has taken his seat, all the other 53 members are yet to do so. I want to take this opportunity to specially acknowledge the presence in the chamber of the Honorable Mohamed Bangura, who has been well advised and directed to come and take his seat to represent, I should say, the people who had voted for him. I thank the Honorable Mohamed Bangura for his wise decision, and I know this nation owes you a deep and abiding sense of gratitude for that singular patriotic action on your part. All this, I don't get issue with them. The side where I want for now pay particular attention, it begins from number 4. Okay, so this number 4, let's push them up small. You know, Abbas Bundu, to be honest, former President Kaba, we don't make it clear, say, na man way, according to Kaba, the quote, good for Salone. So, number 4, not too long ago, they sat idly by and allowed a situation to be nurtured for many years, almost to the point of becoming entrenched within the framework of the APC, until one of their own summoned the courage of conviction to having his day in court by instituting legal proceedings against the APC and its executive. Mercifully, when they see the adjective, the words the way they use, this adverb, mercifully, the court accepted the need to exercise the entire APC party executive, exercise the entire APC party executives at all levels that had outlived their mandates and liberated the party from the darkness of domination and bring it back to the bright light of compliance with the sacred democratic provisions of the very 1991 constitution of which they were the architect. For this, we say kudos to our judiciary of our country. So imagine the fambulem. Una know football, where they say referee. So you na referee, you suppose not to your business. This is not to your party. For like you, they use this kind of words against other party. When you not a member of that party, they talk about how them don't be, dark days and all that stuff. Then they, Ebo, this not a provocation. This not go continue for create issue now we continue. They say they go parliament. Now where they come parliament, and as a matter of fact, all you need for do is now for guide the proceedings. Now that speaker for do. That's all. Not to your business, whether they go parliament or not, and they call them now that make a nice way somebody some people rise up and carry them go to court. Ebo, not to the party. You're not a member of them. So why you for emphasize on that? Why you for talk about the party and talk about the executive? And now they say kudos to the judiciary. Ebo. So again, I want for go small. Let una see how terrible and dangerous Abbas Bundu they play with we country in peace. Because to me, this, in my opinion, a dangerous game. As a matter of fact, Parliament get the authority for call Kone, like how the American government say investigate the elections. But no, the thing where the international body they call for, they not address them at all. Now if they go after APC, they call the names. So in fifth paragraph, now another darkness is looming on the horizon, and this is why I want today to appeal to all those eminent statesmen of the APC party to rise up and liberate their party. You see, to rise up and liberate their party from the clutches of despotism and authoritarianism before it is dragged again to the precipice of destruction and extinction. So what in Abbas Bundu they say now? Let APC people rebel. But where Sierra Leonean person, when not like the way how Mother Bio they rule, then put in then can you go court or they arrest you. So you incitement. How you call this kind thing where Abbas Bundu they say so? People then for rise up and liberate. Use all liberate them party. Look the word liberate. I want today to appeal to all those eminent statesmen of the APC party to rise up and liberate their party from the clutches of despotism and authoritarianism. Madabio clearly, it don't show boku evidence of authoritarian rule. But if you did Salone, you say that, then go arrest you. So why Abbas Bundu? Forget the right. Party we not belong to. We're not in business. They're not the parliament where it's supposed for rule over them. They said they go parliament. So that then kind words here. They say they appeal to people that within the party. Let them liberate, let them rise up, let them rebel. Ebo, me fumble them. And tap though, it go on and on and on and on. Sadly enough. On and on and on. So walkouts and boycotts are political tools of yesteryears. They no longer have value and relevance, and they are no longer fit for purpose in this 21st century of participatory democracy. The truth of the matter is palpably simple. If you withdraw yourself from participating in the process of decision making, then you should not be angry when others who agree to participate decide for you and your destiny. Even worse, if you think foreigners from outside Africa have a right to come again to our country to help you take control of our governance or anything else that is not your entitlement under our sovereign laws, then you are still living in the dark ages of colonialism, which had long ago been banished to the addict of history. I don't say he use boku big English them, but I break and down for me fumble them. Abbas Bundu, he give reference to where ECOWAS became and say let them left APC, let them return to parliament. But to remember, this same APC, now them the voters them, big majority na parliament. And they talk about the 21st century purpose and stuff. where modern democracy, who that the people them elect na ingo rule, but use long-term tactics. And worse to that, you even pull the people away, the members them where people elect. You say the second man now for take position. So meaning that the minority person, the person where win minority vote, we get minority vote, now in they go represent the majority of the people there. Then it talk about 21st century democracy. So now see them people here, the people there where they rule we country. In a recipe, in I will say the representation of the bad governance under President Bill. So because ECSL, according to the international observers, them don't publish numbers that were not credible and give SLPP majority where they're able now electing the Abbas Bundu constitutionally. So all they claim now say APC don't know democratic, where him they don't flaunt the constitution before, and then people are the rule way. And the other side where I want to read, where if we not take them, it go bring Salone down. At this part, me fumble them. This if we not take them, go bring Salone down. The 6th paragraph. The 5th one, it won't say no foreign organization or foreign body can't speak to Salone again. Waiting Salone for do, they're not going to accept that. The number 6th point. The reality of the world in which we live today has changed. The new reality is clearly prescribed in the provisions of paragraph E of subsection 1 of section 77 of the Constitution of Sierra Leone, Act number 6 of 1991. That provision states that, and I quote, a member of parliament shall vacate his seat in parliament if he is absent from sittings of parliament for such period and in such circumstances as may be prescribed in the rules of procedure of parliament. And at this bottom side now, I want to pay particular attention. That provision is further amplified in SO, which is the parliamentary standing. SO means standing order. SO 77 2A of the standing orders of this parliament, and again I quote, any member who without good cause, underline that too, good cause, without good cause, during any session is absent from the sittings of parliament on a number of days amounting to an aggregate period of 30 days shall vacate his seats. Two things here. We make us safe, we not be careful. Abbas Bundu ready for bring Salone down. Now, according to the Constitution, say certain number of period, but Parliament now make them clear with their own order, standing order, then put 30 days. So two things here. The 30 days, it will only make sense if now that first past the post. The reason we make us say so, if now be first past the post system, like how we get first term, when a constituency individual they run for constituency, if that constituency they vacant, then go call for by-election, or they own rig way, put second man, way then it's sad for Salone. It's shameful. But this one now the CSF change now to PR, where they, according to where they do the campaign for PR. Oh, this one not go cost the country much. It go save the country plenty money. Need not go there again for Dubai election. If somebody vacate in seat, the party they put somebody else there. So tell me, if the people them way they don't elect, or I say, oh, after 30 days, therefore vacate their seat. But guess what? Now the party still therefore put the new people them, wait for occupy them vacant seats then they. So if another 30 days come, I get for call APC back, oh, I need for fill their seats then they. So the question now and the concern what I get, if they try for manipulate that process they, where the party now in the feeling vacant position in the next 5 years, if we just for the sake of argument, ECSL number are incorrect. In the next 5 years, APC get 54 seats. Nothing a change. So if somebody die, 9 seats, Father forbid it, not to SLPP get for fill that seat there. That person they know that seats they not go turn to SLPP seat according to the PR system. It still get for remain APC seat. So waiting Abbas Bundu gets 9 sleeve, where it remind APC them of them 30 days and for vacate the seat. The seat is vacant already. And SLPP not going to fill them. They're not going to fill their seats then they will remain vacant as long as APC then stay out of parliament. So you see now where the PR system don't shoot them at them foot, they're not able to do then dubious manipulation as they be do the last election. So now see how, and this man get PhD in law. So the question now is, waiting he get up in sleeve, where maybe he go use the judiciary for change something, because they don't do them severally. They change the laws them as the game they play. So then go find way back for change this, and find another way for let them put SLPP people them, now them 54 seats, 53 seats then they, because one APC person in a parliament. And besides, another thing where can go create confusion is that person will go na the seat, we go na parliament, Honorable Mohamed Bangura. It is clearly, from your understanding, that the Constitution, where the Constitution make it clear, say a party, as long as you run under that symbol there, a party can expel you in a parliament. All they need for do is now for inform the speaker, not all approval that they take for them, now for inform them. So imagine if APC say for Dreb Mohamed Bangura na APC. And remember that same law there in the Constitution, the former president Koroma used against Sam Sumana, where they misinterpret them, say if you not belong to a political party, you know, for be president, you know, for be vice president. But ECOWAS interpret and say now before you run, not after we don't win. So what they do, they expel them APC, and it become now that situation where they don't get any political party, and they use that clause there now in the Constitution, say they don't get any established political party. So as a result, qualify for be vice president. When I see, and the Supreme Court interpret in that way they. So again, if Supreme Court don't interpret the law in favor of former President Koroma, say the party, if you not belong to the party, then you know forget, for be all that position there. In the case of Mohamed Bangura, you not for be a member of parliament if the party expel you. So now they kata for can where Abbas Bundu go on for take power we not get, where the Constitution or game. Go on for say no, Mohamed Bangura, the people they elect him, so you get right for the another place there. But the Constitution say if the party expel you, as long as you run under the symbol, you for cease for be parliamentarian. So me fumble them. I just want for bring to una the kind thing where they gonna we conti. Very dangerous them politicians here. Where I repeatedly they tell una, particularly the loyal supporters them. Them politicians here, they're not good for Salone, especially the one them like the old one they are like Abbas Bundu, Victor Fo, Alpha Khan. They're all. I just fulfill them pocket. Abbas Bundu, in fact, according to waiting the right here, then put retired. Last show now. The caption before a name. RT. Honorable Dr. Abbas Cherno Bundu. RT mean retired. Waiting he come for back. So nobody not qualify SLPP for be Speaker of Parliament. I think kind politicians here we get. They don't corrupt the last parliament. Plus all kind Jobo Jaba laws them for cement the SLPP in our power. Because even this Public Elections Act, where they enforce, even where the ECOWAS Parliament say no, not to the right time this for being PR. Then they only introduce PR because then during the war, people then displaced. So they're not go able for Shebam by district. But now we get districts them. So we for keep to the old system. They say, oh no, in the very Abbas Bundu. Now he show them a way for maneuver. Oh no, it ain't the constitution. Say the president just need for ask the electoral commission need for just get guidance. Ekebu bring and come back. In the very Abbas Bundu. And now they struggle with the PR system. And the way they sell the PR system, they say it will even give opportunity to smaller parties them or independent. Tell me, last time we get APC, SLPP, NGC, C4C, and we get independent candidates. But now not only APC and SLPP. So how did PR help Salone democracy? They don't manipulate the whole thing. So the last thing where I want to bring to our attention, me fumble them. Speaking of Salone politicians, them. Look at this man, where now the current ECOWAS Parliament Speaker. Me now one person will be glad as Sierra Leonean say, oh wow, they elect Sierra Leonean for be the Speaker of the ECOWAS Parliament. I'll be so glad. But one Nigerian newspaper interviewed some parliamentarians, them ECOWAS parliamentarians, them. Larry Tona waiting they write about Will Salone brother. A Nigerian newspaper called This Nigeria has reported that members of Parliament of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, have criticized what they described as the poor leadership style of the incumbent Speaker of the Parliament, Sidi Mohamed Tunis. Tunis, who is the head of the Sierra Leonean delegation to the ECOWAS Parliament, has been largely absent since the commencement of the 2023 first ordinary session of Parliament in Abuja. Wanna see? So you take the position as a speaker, you're the absent. And they say in leadership style, very terrible. And look what they add in the writing addition. This is not the first time he's abandoning the sub-regional legislative business for personal engagement and national politics, according to the sources. A vocal MP of Parliament from Senegal, again, I know so not quick for say na APC, this a member of Parliament from Senegal, Abdoulaye Villain, said Tunis will go down in history as the worst speaker in the annals of the Parliament. The worst speaker. This Now, a Senegalese representative said this. We own Salone brother go as the worst speaker. And he continued for say, during committee meeting in Abuja, also alleged that the speaker uses his position to give undue advantage to Sierra Leoneans through irregular recruitment in the parliament, thereby shortchanging other nationals. It said that the speaker presided over the opening of the session and later abdicated his responsibility. It further alleged that the speaker's nonchalant attitude towards assigned duties is fuel, corruption, and ineptitude at the parliament, insisting that he uses appointment to silence dissenting voices against his recklessness at the parliament. We fumble them. And now this same Tunis, if Abaspun do not become, na him one for be speaker na Salone Parliament. Where then he go for say he go bring he experience where he don't get na ECOWAS Parliament as speaker. We're all for glad he say okay well, he go able for can implement something. See what he can go there? Salone corruption. Salone corruption. Now he can go there according to the allegation. Give appointment to people that will not deserve it because as Sierra Leoneans them. Even me, it don't mean as Sierra Leonean. It's completely wrong. And then they happen our politics so. Both APC and SLPP, where then go there and fambul them, friends them, you know, that thing where that music called nepotism. What a disgrace. We on Salone board that we myself be glad for. Say at least this now way for showcase Sierra Leonean talent. But look what he can go corruption. Because now Salone signature, corruption. Yes, Nigeria self corrupt. But for the fact say you go showcase the corruption instead of you be exemplary Sierra Leonean. Go show good example. No, not corruption. And besides, you don't even get respect for the institution. What can you do? You dey left there anyhow. They can't go fet na Salone. You time not done it na ECOWAS. You dey go fet na Salone for national position. For go be speaker na Salone. Because they now they you know get for accounts to nothing. Anything say, hey, then clap for you. Corrupt. So we family, we don't go way over time. I go pause here. Again, I want for sure the Niger coup. The reason we make I want for sure because the thing that way they go now we country. It's so plenty. Then Abbas Bundu they now, then ECSL Kone now, the judiciary, like even President Bill, like all the branches of government that don't show huge amount of corruption without discipline. Salone with a notch of grievances. And then thing the way they happen at the other countries, so whether they overthrow democratically elected governments. My brothers and sisters, Salone, let's be careful. And this Niger, even play for now. It not go take long. Let's just play the first part. So una go see where civilians then safe. They say the man we elect him, he deserve the election. We elect him free and fairly. So we not go agree for let the army intervene. And America self talk. But now, in the case of Salone, national observers them, international observers them, they say the election are credible. So meaning that you go get Boku Sierra Leoneans them. If anything like this happen at Salone, and also when I go come at me, oh, incitement, they analyze the possibility, the probability. And every day as this thing they drag on, the probability for let the military intervene, it increase at Salone. And they know too about it. So I want for I play this. Let una see say there is a possibility, and especially where it's very clear that the international body not see the result as credible. When at them we get for one tool for sanction the military or for pull them ECOMOG for pull them for we and stuff. If the international community say no, you don't deserve it, absolutely they're not going to do anything. Just like Guinea, where people then frown upon them for go a third term, for bastardize the constitution and give himself a third term. So where it happen, ECOMOG not go there. But take Gambia in case, where Yaya Jammeh, he don't lost the election, he want stick there. No. Then tell and say if he continue for the day, then go pull on by force. Because there was a justification for doing that. So you not go rig election and then you say the ECOWAS body can fight for you. So I want left with this. And immediately after the video, we go end the program. So I'm for say Boku thank you to una always join. And let God bless una with una family. And let God bless VOS. For let we continue, forget the strength. And to all the presenters there, I'm for say Boku thank you and let God bless una all. And above all, I can always say, dear Lord, not swear them. There were politicians here. Because if we swear them, the swear cage, now Salone will continue for deteriorate. Because the swear all go for them by the country back. So Lord, pray, let God change them. And let God resolve this issue in a peaceful way. Let then conscience be then like Connie, if you do anything illegal or anything unpatriotic, let God touch your heart. For let confess and mother be shame and do the right thing. But if it do the right thing, let it convince himself and say, but wait here, I need for hide. Now the right numbers them. Why not go publish them and gain the respect where Salone deserve? So we need for pray for them. And above all, we fumble them. Let we pray for the land that we love. Let God bless Mama Salone. And I thank you. Again, me and Abdul Karim Kagbo, they say, Tata. Let God bless you all.
We begin with breaking news from Niger, where a group of soldiers claim democratically elected President Mohamed Bazoum. They've declared the closure of Niger's borders and imposed a nationwide curfew. Ferdia Carr begins our coverage.
Detained by the men meant to protect him, Niger's presidential guards surrounded Mohamed Bazoum's residence early on Wednesday. Amid the uncertainty, supporters of the president came out to protest.
No one knows what's going on. We all woke up this morning and heard that someone had decided to take the president hostage and try to make him resign. It's impossible. Everyone has come out to show their discontent.
Soldiers fired in the air, sending protesters running. There was apparent hope from the presidency and the West African bloc ECOWAS that a solution could be mediated. Hours later, in a broadcast on national television, military officers announced the removal of President Mohamed Bazoum.
We, the Security Defence Forces, gathered at the National Council for the Safeguard of the Homeland, have decided to put an end to the regime you know. This follows the continuous deterioration of the security situation and poor social and economic management. We affirm our support to all commitments undertaken by Niger.
ECOWAS, the African Union, and the United States have demanded President Bazoum's release.
I spoke with President Bazoum earlier this morning and made clear that the United States resolutely supports him as the democratically elected president of Niger. We call for his immediate release. We condemn any effort to seize power by force.
Frustrations around unrest and armed rebellions in the Sahel region have been a driving force for coups there. Niger's neighbours, Mali and Burkina Faso, have seen 4 military takeovers since 2020. Western forces, especially France and the United States, have since increasingly relied on Niger as a base of operations against armed groups in the Sahel. They'll hope to see Niger remain a democracy, along with Mohamed Bazoum's supporters, who voted him into power just 2 years ago. Ferdi Akar, Al Jazeera.
Ahmed Idris says there were several signs of trouble for Mohamed Bazoum since he came to power.
Bazoum had his work cut out for him from day one. He was an influential member of the last administration. He campaigned vigorously and won the election in 2021. But again, in 2021, the danger signs started showing. Bazoum is coming from a minority Arab tribe in Niger, and then taking power away from an established tribe that dominated the military, the civil service, and the business was a very, very difficult thing for people. And so there were several indications that this may not end well for him, and it may not end well for his government, running its full course. And we started seeing this probably since 2021, when Mohamed Yusuf was still in power. That was the time Bazoum was elected and he was declared president, and there was opposition against him. People were thinking that there will certainly be a coup one way or the other, but he lasted 2 years actually. So he faced challenges. He inherited the Boko Haram insurgency, the worsening situation on the border with Mali and Burkina Faso. So those were critical issues that define what the coup leaders were saying in their statement this evening, saying that Bazoum has failed to rein in the security challenges in Niger and also the economic challenges facing the people in that country. But again, if you look at Niger, you understand that this is a poor country that has been struggling for decades in terms of the economy, in terms of security, in terms of even feeding the ordinary person on the street. Niger has faced several environmental challenges, climate challenges, and is still facing them. And people are curious to know how the military will solve those problems they are accusing Bazoum of failing to solve.
West Africa's main regional and economic bloc, ECOWAS, had earlier said that the president of Benin is heading to Niger on a mediation mission. The UN, the African Union and the US have called for the immediate release of President Bazoum. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken spoke a few minutes ago about the political crisis unfolding in Niger.
We are very closely monitoring the situation and developments in Niger. I spoke with President Bazoum earlier this morning and made clear that the United States resolutely supports him as the democratically elected president of Niger. We call for his immediate release. We condemn any effort to seize power by force. We're actively engaged with the Niger government, but also with partners in the region and around the world. We'll continue to do so until the situation is resolved appropriately and peacefully.
Mike Hanna reports now from Washington, D.C.
The White House, the State Department, and indeed the Pentagon have been closely monitoring the situation. There's deep concern in the United States about the situation in Niger. It is described as a critical partner of the United States. Now, there are some 1,000 U.S. forces stationed in that country, some of them special forces units who've been training the Nigerian military, but there's also a massive drone base in the north of the country, which is used to police the movement of militants allied to Boko Haram or Al-Qaeda. So great concern within the United States, also the awareness of what happened in Niger's neighbors. Their military coups in Mali and Burkina Faso resulted in an invitation to Russian-backed forces to come into the country. This is something that the US would not like to see in Niger, which is regarded as its last standing ally in the region. Now, the Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, held a telephone conversation with President Bazoum during the course of the day. He's in Wellington, New Zealand. He says that he offered his unwavering support to the Nigerian president. However, what form the support will take in the days and weeks ahead is unclear. Mike Hanna, Al Jazeera, Washington.
West Africa has seen a series of military takeovers and attempted coups in recent years. In August 2020, the Malian army ousted President Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta after a wave of anti-government protests. 3 years later, the military is still in power. In September 2021, the soldiers in neighbouring Guinea overthrew President Alpha Condé. It followed a disputed election in which he had been vying for a controversial third term. In Burkina Faso, 2 coups took place in a matter of months in 2022. Army Captain Ibrahim Traoré is currently in control there. And also last year in Guinea-Bissau, 11 people were killed in a failed coup in February. Let's bring in Cameron Hudson now. He's an analyst on African peace, security and governance issues. He's also former Director of African Affairs at the National Security Council at the White House. He joins us from Durham, North Carolina. Welcome to the programme. So, it's still a developing situation here, but nonetheless, how worried will the US administration be over what's happening?
Well, I think they're going to be very concerned. As you mentioned before, there's over 1,000 U.S. military personnel in Niger right now conducting counterterrorism operations as well as training the Nigerian military. We have 2 drone bases operating there, which surveil the entire Sahel region. But more importantly than that, I think it was the last remaining democratic state in the entire region. You mentioned the number of coups d'etats that had taken place in the last few years in neighboring states. We've seen Secretary Blinken, the very first Secretary of State ever to travel to Niger, did so only 3 months ago, promised more than $150 million in humanitarian assistance and political support. And so I think there's a real question that Washington has to be asking itself right now, if after all of this money and attention and engagement and assistance, if we cannot keep Niger on a democratic path, then what are we doing wrong?
We've seen recent military upheavals in neighbouring countries, haven't we? To what extent have insurgencies like ISIL in the region fueled military discontent?
Well, I think we can't rule out the fact that, it was the military that carried out this coup, and that they have been on the front lines of combating these terrorist elements that have been spreading across the Sahel region. Now, Niger was not the most worrisome case. It was not the most beset by that terrorist threat. Burkina and Mali have seen far greater death tolls and civilian casualties related to those conflicts. But nonetheless, I think there was a certain degree of discontentment within the military. Clearly, there's been some speculation that perhaps they haven't been receiving the training that they want or the supplies and the material that have been promised to them. It's hard to say exactly what their grievances are. They've been very murky about it, just saying that it's the political situation, the socioeconomic situation, and the security situation in the country that caused them to carry out this coup. So that's not a lot to go on, given that it's everything.
The US says it gives unwavering support to Mohamed Bazoum, but in practical terms, how far will that support go?
Well, again, I think we've seen Washington trying to rally support not only from itself, but we've seen the neighboring states coming in, Benin and Nigeria intervening with a mediation effort. We don't know how far that's going to go. We've seen the African Union and ECOWAS, the regional organization, condemning this coup. So there has been, I think, much more rallying around the Nigerian president than we saw perhaps in Burkina Faso or Mali, where military coups came after other military coups. Bazoum was a kind of bright spot in this region. He was a democratically elected president. He had embraced, Western alliances. He had traveled to France, to Washington multiple times since being elected, had exchanged visits with these leaders, and so was really seen as the last Sahelian leader in the Western camp. I think for him to fall and to be removed, I think poses all kinds of questions for this alliance of how we can strengthen and continue to engage Sahelian states going forward.
Cameron Hudson, we very much appreciate your insights. Thank you.
Thanks.